so we are open up to the next clean page in our math notebooks, and we're going to take today's notes. So if this focuses, there we go. Okay, so our title today, 2.2, Estimate Sums and Differences, and today's date, 10/23/2020. Go ahead and get that written at the top. Put a thumbs up when you have that at the top of your page. Thank you, Jack. What's up, Zoe? You don't have your notebook? It was listed on the board, wasn't it? You need to be grabbing it. Go grab it. Do you absolutely need it right now? Okay. All right, so title 2.2, Estimate Sums and Differences. Thumbs up on your desk when you have that written down. Awesome, thank you. Now, who can tell me what the word estimate means? What does it mean to estimate? What does it mean? Addie?
It means to guess.
To guess. Okay, I like that word. So when we estimate, we're kind of guessing. Is it just a random guess? No. We're using information to help us guess, right, when we estimate? Now, what's a sum? What's a sum? Michael?
Isn't it an answer to either a multiplication, addition?
Yes, a sum is the answer to an addition problem. So what is a difference then? What's a difference? Layla? Exactly. A difference, Zoe, close the door, please, is the answer to a subtraction problem. So if we kind of reword this, we're saying we're guessing, not just a random guess, but using information to guess the answer to addition and subtraction problems. That's what we're doing today. So we are going to write down first how to estimate sums and differences of decimals. Because I think you guys are pretty good when it comes to estimating the sums and differences of whole numbers. Decimals, it's very similar, just a little different because we will have digits in the tenths, hundredths, and thousandths places, so we need to know how to estimate with those. Oh, sorry. So how to estimate sums and differences of decimals. Thumbs up on your desk when you have that written down. Awesome. All right, I see a few people finishing up their notes so far. Awesome. Okay. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's see. Do I want to unveil the whole thing? Oh, yeah, there's just 2 steps. Yes. Okay, so there's 2 steps. First, we round each number to the largest place value. Then we add or subtract to find the answer. Now, I want you to underline for sure round, and I wrote largest place value in a different color to emphasize it. If you don't have, I know some of you like to kind of match what I do. If you don't have different colors, awesome. If you don't have different colors, I would also like you to underline largest place value so that it's emphasized, just like the word round is. Go ahead, Jackie.
A highlighter?
No, not a highlighter. I'd say like a pen, if you had a pen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, number 1, round each number to the largest place value. Then number 2, add or subtract to find the answer. Put a thumbs up when you have that written down. Try not to be clicking your pens too much, okay? I'm a pen clicker, I know it, so I buy pens that are usually silent. So just be conscious of that if you are also a pen clicker. I do it all the time. Okay, so you guys, do you know what it means when it says round each number to the largest place value? So, if we have the number 159, what's the largest place value in that number? Raise your hand. In the number 159, what's the largest place value in that number? What is it? Theosius? The hundreds place. Let's say we have the number 1,569,722. What's the largest place value in that number? Allison? 1 million. So when I say round each number to the largest place value, it means the place value all the way to the left of the number. Because, right, when we go to the left, that's the place values get larger. So, for example, if we are asked to estimate the difference, is it okay if I scoot up to where you can't see this first part? Okay. All right, so our example. If we are asked to estimate the difference, and what's a difference again, 5th grade? Who can raise their hand and tell me? What's a difference, Emmy? It's the answer to a subtraction problem. So when we're asked to estimate the difference, we're being asked to estimate the answer to a subtraction problem. Yes, Michael?
Oh, I was just raising my hand for the
Oh, okay. That's okay. I've done that before too. All right. So, example, estimating the difference. Okay. I'll give you another moment. Thank you for telling me when I'm going too fast. I appreciate it. All right. So, if we are asked to estimate the difference of these two numbers, so we have 19.7 or 19 and 7/10 minus 6.9, which is 6 and 9/10. I want you to write down that problem. Write it down. Remember how I told you to be conscious of clicking your pen? That means only click it when you absolutely need to. Thank you. That's okay. All right, get the numbers written down. Okay, does everyone have these numbers written down?
Yes.
All right, so if we are asked to estimate the difference of these two numbers, remember our first step of round each number to the largest place value? What is the largest place value in our first number? What's the largest place value here? So the place value all the way to the left on this number. Raise your hand when you think you know what the largest place value is. I won't call on you, but raise your hand when you think you know what the largest place value in this number is. So for example, it could be the thousands place, the hundreds place. So what is the largest place in this number? Raise your hand if you know. All right, on the count of 3, I want you to say the place, not the digit in the place, but the place that's the largest. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
10.
The tens place, exactly. That's the largest digit in this number. How about in our second number? Raise your hand when you know the largest place value in the second number. Raise your hand when you know the largest place value in the second number. All right? On the count of three, let's say that place value, or that place. 1, 2, 3. Ones. So, in our first number, it's the tens place. In our second number, it's the ones place. So, what I want you to do right now, you are going to round both numbers to their largest place value. So our first number, we would be rounding to the tens place. Our second number, we would be rounding to the ones place. I want you to write the new numbers off to the side. Write the rounded numbers off to the side. You can do under it. That's fine. I did mine under it, so that definitely. Then I want a thumbs up on your desk when you have rounded the numbers and written them down. Nope. You guys, people are concentrating while they're rounding. Please stop talking. It's going to be another moment or two. And then you also want to go around to the one place, right? And so, largest place value. So here it says 10 place, right? So underline the 10 place. Now, what's next door? What's next door? What is the 9 place? Yeah, so the 1 becomes off. 2. And everything to the right becomes off. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And what's the largest place value here? Yeah. So what's underline the 6? What's next door? What's next door? 9. What's the 9 plus? Yep. Add 1. So 6 becomes a, and then 9 becomes a, yep. All right, let's see if we all rounded the same. All right, so, yep. There we go. I'm going to use black. Okay. So we said in our first number that the tens place was the largest place value. So I would underline my 1. And then I'm going to look next door. Next door, I have a 9. What does that 9 tell me to do to the 1? Raise your hand. What does it tell me to do to the 1? Mackenzie? I have to add 1. Exactly. So the 1, I have to add 1. So if I'm adding 1 to 1, then it becomes 2. What happens to all the digits to the right? They become what? What do they become, Zoe? They become zeros. Yep, zeros their name. Now, if you just wrote that as the whole number 20, that would work. All right, then we have our second number. We said the ones place is the largest, so I'd underline the ones place. Look next door. Next door, we have another 9. What does the 9 tell me to do to the 6? What does it tell me to do to the 6? Drew, what does it tell me to do to the 6? I have to add 1 more. Thank you. Awesome. I'd add 1 more. 6 plus 1 is 7. What happens to all the digits to the right? What happens to all the digits to the right? Jack L. They become zeros. Exactly. Zero's their name. So we have 20.0 minus 7.0. Is this now a lot easier to do in our heads? Yes. So you guys, eyes on me for a second. All eyes on me. See all your eyes. when you see the word estimate, it automatically means you should be rounding your numbers. Estimate means rounding. Exactly, because it's an educated guess. It's not a random guess. We're rounding, so it's within reason, but we're still kind of guessing, getting around the correct answer. So now, yes, go ahead and solve that problem, 20 minus 7, and circle it in your notebook. When you've circled it in your notebook, put a thumbs up, and then we'll say the answer all together. Thumbs up when you have written the answer and circled it. Thumbs up when you've written the answer and circled it. 20 minus 7. Thumbs up when you've written down the answer and circled it. Exactly. Exactly. So this is just like the whole number 20. That's the whole number 7. All right, on the count of 3, let's say the answer together. 1, 2, 3. It is 13. You could have written it like this, or you could have written it like this. 0 tenths. Okay. Ready to rock. Okay. Does it make sense how we estimate with decimals? Okay. So anytime you are estimating with decimals, you round to that largest place value, the place value all the way to the left of your number. We are going to do some practice problems. So practice. Estimate the sum or difference. So does that mean that all of these problems are going to be subtraction? Does this mean all these problems are going to be addition? No, there's going to be some subtraction and some addition. I'm going to screw that up. They give you the addition or subtraction sign, Richie. Okay? So practice, estimate the sum or difference. And you guys, if it helps when you get directions like this, if you're like, oh geez, I'm afraid I'm gonna forget what a sum or a difference is. What I used to do is when I looked at directions, I would automatically put the sign above the word. So for sum, I would put a plus sign, and for difference, I would put a minus sign. That way, it just reminded me. So if you ever feel like doing that for directions, do it, okay? Like quotients, division, products, multiplication, sum is addition, and difference is subtraction. You can always put that sign above it so that you remember which is which. There are no rules that say you cannot do that. Okay, even on a test. Okay, so we have 4. Yep, we have 4 problems. So like I said, there's some addition and some subtraction. So go ahead, get them written down. You will notice number 3 does have 3 different numbers you're adding. Don't let that freak you out. We're just doing the same thing, except there's a 3rd number we are rounding and adding. So once you have these written down, just remember, you first are finding the largest place value in each number, and then rounding to that place value. So when you are done rounding, for each problem, you should only be working with whole numbers. There should not be anything to the right of the decimal. Once you have these written down, you can go ahead and solve them. I will know you are done if your thumbs up on your desk or you are doing something quietly. going to correct our practice problem. So if you are reading something or working on something else, set it to the side. Let's look at these together. I'm really excited to see how we did. Yay! Okay. Does it work best when I work in black marker or black pen? Okay, then that's what we're going to do. So we know first step is we need to round each number to the largest place value. So for number 1, our largest place value in our first number is the tens place, so I'm going to underline the 8. And the second number, it's also the tens place, so I'm going to underline the 5. So then, now that I've marked the places that we need to round, I'm going to look next door. There's a 7 here. Remember, if it's 5 or more, we add 1 more. Exactly. So there's a 7 that's larger than 5, so I need to add 1. So 8 plus 1 is 9. Everything behind it, or yes, becomes zeros. So everything after becomes zeros. So 90 plus. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I've underlined my 5. I look next door. There's a 2. That's less than 5. So my 5 stays the same. But I still make everything after it zeros. Everything after zeros their name. So now I have 90 plus 50. 90 plus 50, who can raise their hand and tell me what 90 plus 50 is? What is it, Philip? 140, exactly. Equals, I'm going to write it down here so I haven't, oh no, I have enough room. 140. Exactly, and you could have written that as 140.00. That would also work. How do we do on number 1? How do we do on number 1? Show me 1 through 5 how you did on number 1. How'd you do? Awesome. 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 Philip, how'd you do on number 1? Show me 1 through 5. Awesome. Yep. All right. Awesome. Now let's look at number 2. Number 2, same thing. Underline the largest place value. Michael, I think it's because you were rounding to the nearest whole number instead of the largest place value. Yeah. But on homework, round to the largest place value. Awesome. Okay. 1's place for both of them. So my first one, 7. Look next door, there's a 0. That's definitely less than 5. So my 7 stays the same. Everything after, 0 is their name, so they become zeros. Minus, then my 0, I look to the right. How many of you underlined the 9 thinking that was the largest place value? Anybody? Okay, good. So even if there's a 0 in the largest place value, that's still where you're rounding to. So then I would look to the right, look next door, there's a 9. I need to add 1 more. 1 plus 0 is 1. Everything behind, 0 is their name. Awesome. 7 minus 1 is 6. Or 6.00. How we do number 2? Show me 1 through 5. How'd you do number 2? How we do number 2? How we do number 2? Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Hands down. Awesome. Then number 3. So number 3, I threw in here just in case you come across a problem where it's more than 2 numbers you're working with. We still do the same exact thing. We're just doing it for an extra number. Underline the largest place value. So 1's place, 1's place, 1's place. Look next door of our first number. We have an 8. That is larger than 5, so I need to add 1 more. 5 plus 1 is 6. Everything after it becomes zeros. Plus, then we move on to our second number. I've underlined the 1. I look next door. There is a 6. That's larger. That's 5 or larger, so I add 1 more. 1 plus 1 is 2. Everything after it becomes zeros. Plus, my third number, I have a 2. I look next door. That's a 3. So that is less than 5. So my 2 stays the same. But still, everything after it becomes a 0. So now we have 6 plus 2 plus 2, which gets me 10. Nice job. Nice job. How do we feel about number 3? 1 through 5. Show me on your hand. How do we feel about number 3? Chanel, how do you feel about number 3? Philip, Drew, how did you feel about number 3? Awesome. Jack P, how did you feel about number 3? Okay. And then number 4. Underline our place values. or largest place values, excuse me. For both of them, it's a tens place. So my first number, I underline the 5. I look next door, it's a 9. That's 5 or more, so I add one more. 1 plus 5 gets me 6. Everything else becomes zeros. Did anyone accidentally put a decimal between the 6 and the 0? Make sure you didn't, because is there a decimal in the number we're starting with? No, so there should not be a decimal here. It's a whole number. Minus, and then I underline my 4. I look next door, it's a 3. That's less than 5, so my 4 stays the same. Everything else becomes zeros. 60 minus 40, you get 20. How did we feel about number 4? How do we feel about number 4? Awesome. Awesome. Why are you confused? But we're subtracting, Michael. 60 minus 40. Yep. Yep. All right. Close your eyes. You're going to tell me how you're feeling about this. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. So, when I say go, I should be closing. When I say go, you're going to hold up a number 1 through 5 to tell me how you feel about estimating the sums and differences of decimals. And go ahead, show me 1 through 5. How are you feeling about this? How are you feeling about this? 1 through 5, show me. Philip, you should be holding up a number. 1 through 5, how are we feeling? Okay. Hands down. Hands down. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. All right. Back down. All right. Homework tonight. You are going to open up to page 69. 69. Yep. Yep. We sometimes, skip ahead a little bit. And that's okay.
I always go ahead. I always show the next lesson. It's not 1.7.
Yep. Ready to rock. Everyone should be opening up their workbooks to page 69. You're going to have 5 problems for homework tonight. So page 69 in your workbook. All right, you are going to circle. These are the problems you're doing for homework tonight. Number 3. Number 4. Number 8. Number 11. And number 12. Zoe, do you have your workbook? Okay, so you should be writing down this as I'm saying it, okay? So it's page 69 and 70. Can I post it? Awesome. So page 69 and 70. Number 3. Number 4. Number 8. Number 11. And number 12. All right, so I'm going to give everyone some work time. What should our volume level be during this work time? 0. Unless you have a question, then you can come over and ask me and we can whisper over at my table. Capiche? Awesome job today, 5th grade. Thank you.